Welcome back to Kitchen Stadium. Battle Butter is all wrapped up and ready to go to judgment. But before those lucky people get to dig into all that goodness, we must hear about the rules from Kevin Brosh.
Thanks, Elton. Here's how it goes down. Each judge can award a chef up to 20 points. We have 10 points possible for taste, another 5 points possible for plating design, and of course, finally, as many as 5 points for their originality in the use of today's secret theme ingredients. May the best chef prevail.
Thank you, Kevin. I think we are clear now on the rules. Let's now head up to the chairman's table, which only has 4 places, and get the judging underway.
Chef Grieveson, please tell us what your approach was to today's secret ingredient.
Well, my approach was to make it rich without it seeming too rich. So I wanted flavors to be clean, precise, small enough where you can just get a full feel for the butter, but not to be too intrusive.
Excellent. Shall we begin?
Yes, please. We have a popcorn-encrusted sea scallop with melted leeks on corn, pea tendrils to round it all out.
I think it's wonderful how you brought the corn into the dish, psychologically, because I sort of associate corn with butter flavor. Popcorn was also another great way of getting the butter flavor to be prominent in the dish. The corn really kind of pushed it over the edge. For me, it's so delicious.
Thank you. Thank you.
This was a beautiful dish. The plating, the colors, the textures, the butter flavor from the popcorn to the fresh corn, right through the scallop, all really played through, and none of the flavors overwhelmed the butter.
Fantastic.
I enjoyed the dish very much. I didn't really think that it was about the butter, though.
Okay.
Thank you, Chef. Next course, please.
Thank you. Well, we have butter here. Smoked paprika butter, hollandaise, which is, of course, made with butter. Tote in the hole with brioche bread, which is made with butter also. Also inside is a little surprise. It's a little bit of a potato, tortilla cheese, and piquillo peppers.
It does say butter in a roundabout way. It says like butter, something else, butter, something else, butter, something else, butter, something else, butter.
Good.
Which is a good thing to say.
Thank you. That's great.
Very mellow, delicious, smooth use of butter. None of the flavors overpowered anything else.
Excellent.
It's just very, very nicely blended. Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chef. Next course, please.
So next course is a pan-roasted sea bass, which I then basted with butter and a little bit of lemon. The sauce is a beurre monté with peas, fresh morels, and also a little bit of acid in there to cut the richness.
The fish is delicious, and the butter sweeps underneath it like a chorus. It's really delightful.
Excellent. Thank you.
And see, this is the first course that I don't get as much emphasis on the butter in this dish. Each of the seafood items are cooked perfectly, but the butter definitely takes a back seat for me on this.
Thank you, Chef. Next course, please.
The next course is veal milanese using butter for the brown butter vinaigrette. Also, it's basted in brown butter. The vegetables are smoked patty pan squash, red onion, fennel, finished with some fresh basil, kind of brighten up a little bit.
The butter is last. That's what you get last. It's like you forget, and then it's like, wait, butter. Delicious.
Excellent.
Yeah, you feel that one, don't you?
The vegetables are so buttery.
I agree. This dish is fantastic. The flavors, I like your twist on a classic Milanese with the smoky flavors, and then the richness of the crust on the veal really carries that butter flavor through.
Thank you, Chef. Next course, please.
Thank you. Last but not least, we have a salted caramel ice cream with goat smoked butter in the pound cake, finished with a cornmeal streusel, and a little bit of a brown butter vinaigrette, so to speak, to also give it a little bit of acidity and poached lemon zest.
Wow. Did you purposely plate this in a teardrop plate?
Absolutely.
Because I'm crying tears of butter right now. I'm crying tears of butter, Chef.
Excellent. Thank you.
Big butter dish here. I'm going to remember this one for a long time.
Excellent. Thank you
really,
very
really
much.
Lovely.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. I mean, the butter and the pound cake, it's in there. I love how you've brought in the goat cheese butter because it really, gives it a different kind of flavor, and the lemon zest really pulls it all together for me.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's excellent.
Chef Grieveson, thank you for an excellent meal.
Thank you very much.
I'm Chef Cora. Please tell us what your inspiration was for today's secret ingredient.
Well, it's endless things you can do with butter, and I wanted to get as creative as possible. And what I've done to start you off is a bread and butter service. The butters here is goat butter, and this is a parsley butter. Put a little liquid nitrogen on them to freeze them, and then busted them up. Just let it temper a little bit on the plate, giving you some warm baguette.
I can't tell if you're like the biggest genius in the world or such a cheater, because all it is bread and butter, which is like the most delicious thing on God's earth. So, which is it? Are you a genius or are you a cheater?
Genius.
You're a genius? Okay.
It's delicious what you've done with the Echaray butter. I mean, Echaray on its own is great. You've twisted it and managed it on a molecular level in a very, very outstanding way.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Iron Chef.
Thank
Next
you very
course,
much.
please. Iron Chef.
Okay. Well, what you have in front of you is a butternut squash tarte tatin, and then a buttermilk dressing, a little bit of a petite herb salad. Enjoy.
I think the butternut squash itself was so creamy and rich that it lended to the butter flavor and really tied in with the greens and the buttermilk dressing. So
Thank you
I think
very
in
much.
terms of highlighting the ingredient, you've done an excellent job.
Thank you.
Does the butternut squash count as butter?
No. No. Does buttermilk count as butter?
Yeah.
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
All right. Okay. I thought it was a byproduct of butter.
It is, but at least it's in the family
All
as
right.
opposed
Okay.
to...
That as opposed to something that
the
grows out of the earth.
What I loved about this was how light it was. I mean, you have a butter dressing on lettuce, and it's almost floating. Beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Iron Chef.
Thank
Next
you.
course, please. Iron Chef.
This is a buttered gnocchi, and we made it in a very classic way. A little bit of buttered truffle on top, a sage brown butter, very classic.
That is so delicious. I mean, there's nothing you could say that, right? What could you possibly say? It's so delicious.
Thank you.
It's so buttery.
C'est magnifique.
Thank you.
Iron Chef.
So, what we've done with the scallop is butter poached it. This is a grapefruit beurre blanc and a little bit of fresh apple on top, and then a buttered celery root puree under it.
Well, no pun intended, but the scallop is like butter.
I have to say, of the dishes you've presented so far, it sort of didn't have like this kind of arc. Like it didn't tell a story as much as the other ones. The flavor of it, like I kept expecting it to go somewhere and then come back, and it kind of almost went to the apple thing, but it wasn't enough or something. But I wish it could have been one more surprise about it or something surprising.
This is a buttered pork tenderloin that's been marinated in a butter, lemongrass, kaffir lime leaves, and then cooked sous vide. This is a coconut curry brown butter sauce. Crisp mango, celery, daikon radish has all been tossed in a brown butter vinaigrette.
The pork became a butter pork, and this really was true to the ingredient of butter. It was just delicious and sweet and clean and very interesting.
Thank you.
I really like the composition of the dish. I thought the plate presentation was beautiful. The pork was cooked perfectly. I like how you married the butter flavors throughout the dish, from the sauce to the peanut crust, and the pork was certainly buttery, and then the vegetables. So again, I thought it was a great use of the ingredient.
Thank you.
Iron Chef.
Okay, last course. In the right corner is a financier and a nice, crisp, caramelized cake. I've got some brown butter Rice Krispie with just a hint of spice in it. This is a brown butter ice milk and a nice sea salt caramel, and this is a raspberry brown butter sauce.
The only problem with this dish is there's about 100 different ways you can combine the flavors and keep playing with it, but it's delicious. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
The salt is a really good thing too, because it really brings the
absolutely.
butter thing to another level at dessert that you don't expect. Just delicious.
It's so much fun the way you can mix and match the different elements of this dish. You could take maybe 10 minutes to eat this dish in all its different configurations and never get bored with it.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Iron Chef Cora. Thank you for a wonderful meal.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Delicious, succulent, buttery verdict when Iron Chef America returns.